Hey guys, we've got news on Global for December 8th, and this week joining me to discuss it is Flip Method. So say hello, Flip.
Hello, what's going on, FFB?
Glad you can join me for the Xenogears event. This is kind of expected and kind of not expected because I think this is the first time in the history of the game, correct me if I'm wrong, that there's two collaborations running simultaneously because we've still got the near collaboration for one more week. Is this the first time?
It might be. Way to put me on the spot with that, but
I don't know either. I don't know either.
that's a difficult question. I know we've had time limited and collaboration at the same time, like holiday and time limited, and a collaboration at the same time. But I don't know if two collaborations have been going at the same time.
Interesting. Well, it's happening this week. So we've got the new units of Neovision's base, Ellie and Seitan, and then a rerun of id and Graft. And I'm not sure if I should say surprisingly or unsurprisingly. I guess before we get into that, I'll mention that it is the Armory step up again. So I don't think I've heard your thoughts on this, Flip. This is like the bad Armory step up. What do you think about all this gear? Anything special here?
Okay, so the thinking cap is the worst item to probably ever exist. Um, the wooden bucklers are nice. The wooden buckler and desert mirror are nice for their 50% elemental resistances, and that's about it.
Mm-hmm.
Um, the killer is good for the fairy, but the beast and dragon killer is just whatever. So basically, you're buying a 75% fairy killer, and limits of magic is kind of all right. Um, the spiked helmet, yeah, it exists. It's with HP and attack. It's the highest HP that you can get in that slot with having that high of an attack. So like it has a place, but not one that you should use in your equipment slot.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's just like I pretty much agree. Like this is all relatively underwhelming. Like the killer, can see use sometimes, but 75 to 3, that's always good. But yeah, it's not the greatest. But
If it was 75 to like other ones, not, freaking beast and dragon.
yeah,
Like,
we just had Flammy, huh?
yeah. Anyway.
Yep. So as far as the units, like I said, either surprisingly or unsurprisingly, they are being upgraded. And I will say this is a good thing because they were pretty underwhelming on the JP server. Before we go into the units, I'm going to pop over to a spreadsheet. Now, this is their JP form. They are being upgraded in global, so they will be somewhere different on this chart. But the DPS rankings based on their JP stuff was Seitan was like around Sabin or Black Pearl or like Surge. Not great. And then Ellie was like so far down, she did worse than the 3-star Gaw. Her damage was an absolute tragedy in JP. So they are being upgraded. So we don't know where they're going to be on global. But are you fans of Xenogears, Flip?
I've actually never played Xenogears at all. I know a lot of people are huge fans of Xenogears. My girlfriend's a huge fan of Xenogears. Like lots of people love this franchise, so I'm excited for it to get another rerun.
Mm-hmm. Pretty cool. So Ellie, the Neovision, she has a 50% wind imperil field. So kind of like Nicole's got the 50 water, Sakura's got the 50 lightning. She's got the 50 wind, and that is it in JP. Like her damage was absolutely atrocious, and she did nothing else. So that was the entirety of her kit. You bring her for the field, or more realistically, you just never bring her, period. Now, on global, she's being upgraded, so we're going to have to see where she lands. If she ends up dealing relevant damage with the field, that could be really good. If she got like a double damage upgrade, that's still going to be nowhere near good enough, so she needs like a quadruple damage upgrade to be worth it. What do you think, Flip? Is it going to be that high, or is it going to be like double damage and that's it?
I mean, all we see on the kit here is just that her Nemo wave gets upgraded. It doesn't show anything else. So by legal standards, they could be just upgrading that ability alone and calling it an upgrade. So I'm not holding. I don't have high hopes for this, but maybe.
I hope so. We'll see. And then the gear is I'm not even entirely familiar with it. So it's an accessory with 80 magic. The first one is LE only. That's flat stats, and then some kill. That's sort of unimpressive. It's really unimpressive.
It's basically 80 magic and killers for demon and machine, and only machine, and only for 50%. It's if you're going against demon and machine, it might be one of your best slots for that, but for a collaboration STMR, not worth it.
Seems pretty underwhelming. I agree. And then Emperor, the Emperor's Emissary Sight. I don't like that name. I mean, the name is lore accurate. I still don't like it. So he is another one of the Xenogears types where he has, base form is kind of irrelevant. He shifts into his gear form. Thankfully, they learned their lesson. While you can do unarmed in the shift form, they realize that unarmed is just not good. And he can and does have support for going double-handed katana in the shift form. And with the Dark Visions katana, that will usually be his better build. Now, in this build right here, I actually calculated this a few weeks ago, and I was assuming we weren't getting the DV katana on global, so I didn't actually calculate with that. With the Dark Visions katana, he would be slightly higher based on JP, but he is being upgraded as well. Now, this seems like just some flat stat upgrade. You think that's going to all it's going to be, Flip?
I mean, it could just be a flat set upgrade. I'm excited about the removal of the no-handed weapons. The ability to equip things is actually incredible. It gives you things like variants. So I think that alone just makes these shift forms better. But looking down at the global upgrades, is the Grandis ability getting an upgrade? Because it's down there with the featured abilities under the global upgrade.
No. Well, I mean, I guess it could, but his Grandis is already 150 Amplify. So unless they decide to be the first ever above 150, probably not. I think it's just like, weird formatting here. If they're doing above 150, it's going to be on a global exclusive first. Yeah, so this is probably just his JP upgrade of 150. I mentioned this in a previous video. All DPS units have a 150 Amplify one time in the fight for one turn. This is his. They all have it. So his upgrade, assuming it's just an extra 1,000 attack power, I'd have to calculate it, but he was already, just behind the meta, so with an extra 1k attack power, he could be good. That said, it
100% killers to everything is also kind of nice. It's easy to gear.
Definitely. And he is a wind unit, which is slightly not where we're currently at on meta these days. The Nier units came out. They're both really want to be light element. They're both really strong. Stuff like that. So, I don't know. It's kind of a weird spot. But then again, the last Dark Visions, they didn't remove the element lock. So if that's going to be a thing on global, then there are going to be fights that are, you can't use light element, but you can use wind. So, could be good. Could be good.
Oh, definitely for Dark Visions, I can see him being one of the top. Dark Visions pulls out units that you never thought that you'd be using. So I definitely can see him having a place in Dark Visions.
Now, if go for it.
His STMR, though, I feel like we didn't touch base on that.
Yeah, I was just going to say, I remember for his being kind of decent. I forgot what it was, but now that I'm looking at it, this is actually... I don't think there currently exists a 100% physical double hand accessory. I think this is the first one, and this is actually pretty good, in my opinion.
I mean, it's flat 80 attack, which is nice in the accessory slot. For him, it's got a 500, so best in slot for him. And then equipment attack 100%. That's pretty nice.
Yeah. This one, I would be happy to off-banner one of these, although I don't plan to be pulling on this banner. I don't know if there's any free pulls.
You say that, but there are those EX battles that are Xenogears limited.
Oh, we're going to talk about those EX fights in just a minute, because I got something to say about those. But
only Xenogears units. Oof.
but this is that's pretty much it. So as far as what he does, like he's just I forget his exact kit, but it's not really like any kind of a kit. It's more of those like ideal damage the end, and he does good damage. So there is that. And if they make Ellie's damage, like the modifier boost here, like the modifier boost can be literally anything. They could give it a 1 million modifier, and then all of a sudden she'd be the strongest unit in the game. But so that really just depends completely on where the numbers lie. But hopefully they make her good. And then as far as their cards, not a whole lot to say here. They're both good cards, 130 base and then 500 flat for Xeno only. Ellie's is magic, Satan's is attack. It's kind of it.
They're good cards for the units they come with.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
For everybody else, though, nah.
Yeah, not going to use them. Not going to use them. And then the event. The event is one of those, like, kind of like the Final Fantasy VI event we had. It's like a Raid Mog King hybrid. You spend energy, but it's for a box. That's going to be the way the majority of events are. So, Flip, help me coin a good term for this. I just call it farm event on JP. What would be a good like nickname for the event? Like we've called them like Mog Kings or Raids in the past. What would these be called?
You summon from a box, right?
Yes. Yes.
So maybe something centered around that, like box summon event or something centered around like what you do with the currency afterwards, because that's how King Mog was termed. So
okay.
Summon event.
So like box farm event.
Perhaps.
Doesn't really sound great. We'll figure it out.
Yeah, I don't know. We'll figure it out. Put me on the spot like that, man.
I know. That's what I do. You come on the news video. I put you on the spot, and I scare away all future guests. So this gear, have you had a chance to like go through it?
I did have a chance to go through it. I looked through it, and not really impressed by any of it.
Yeah, it's not super great. Like this one has some killers on it, but the flat stats are so low, it's going to be hard to justify. We're used to like 100 plus these days. This is 40.
More, and it's machine killer. Honestly.
Oh, it is machine killer.
So, I need more machine killer, really?
Yeah, like have you not pulled 20 Eileens at this point for the scanning goggles? Yeah. So the gear is kind of whatever. I feel like we had this upgraded already from the Xenogears Vision World, I think.
We did? Was it +4 or was it like an only +3 last time?
Oh, it might be +3. I don't remember. It might be +3, so now it's +4. Good point. I don't remember.
I'll have to look it up.
Mm-hmm. Either way, it's not super great regardless, but it is there. Now, here's what we were talking about, the EX fights. So this is where I'm a little salty. So here it is. There's the daily fight, which is for bonus. Forget that. Who cares? The Chosen Contact and the Slumbering Resentment. So, similar to how they changed Terra's Silver Crowns to Gold Crowns on Global, they're doing the same thing. These were Silver Crowns on JP. They're apparently being converted into Gold Crowns, which is fine. That way you have the choice. Do you want to use the Silver Crown for the unit, or do you want to use the crown for the unit, or do you want to use it on something else? That's great to give us options. On the other hand, unlike Terra, who had her crowns, these are upgrade battles for Faye and Id. They seem to be just completely axing the upgrades entirely for Faye and Id. Now, Faye's upgrades were kind of whatever. He's a Neovision's Awakening. He wasn't that good in the first place. His crowns didn't really save him. On the other hand, Id was a dumpster fire when he came out, and his crowns made him usable. Not meta, but they gave him, with all the other support, a 550x modifier LB, which is okay. His problem was his LB used to be like, I think 280 or something. It made it 550. They are completely skipping Id's upgrades, even though they are selling us Id again on the banner. So how do you feel about this, Flip?
I feel like the reason that they're doing that is, the reason they completely skipped them is because they've already sold you Id, and they're not going to give you upgrades for a unit that they've already sold you because they can't make any more money off of it. So you're not getting upgrades. Pull for the new units.
That is so incredibly frustrating to me because, and again, I don't want people to come into the comments and be like, id wasn't meta anyway, because that is true. He was not a meta unit. But we are coming very, very close to the point where the crowned units are meta. If you've seen my videos, if you've seen the past 2 months of rank 1 in Dark Visions and JP, the crowned Sephiroth, the crowned Dark Reign are on literally rank 1 Dark Visions teams. They are absolutely meta in the very near future. Do you think Global is going to skip their crowns as well?
If Global decides to release a unit, like a global exclusive unit or something they can sell us instead of something that we can just upgrade, then yeah, of course I'll skip it.
I am going to be so salty if they skip Sephiroth's upgrades, because that is like a personal thing for me. I love Sephiroth. I've been looking forward to his upgrades since it came out on JP, because they were amazing, and I think he is so strong. And man, if Global skips Sephiroth's upgrades,
you'll have his power level in a different unit that will be a global exclusive something.
Oh my god. Okay. We're going to cross that bridge when we come to it. But apparently, we are skipping Faye and id's upgrades. And I'm especially annoyed about this. I have id. On the last Xenogears event, Graf was really hyped. I gave about 30 or 40 tickets for Graf. I didn't go all in. I gave about 40 tickets. I got id. And he has never seen use once. This was his moment to at least take him to some trials and showcase that id can do something. But I guess I'm not going to do that because skipped. We're skipping id's upgrades. Great. So something more.
I mean, are you? Maybe they just didn't advertise it.
I mean, I guess that's possible. So if they surprise us on Thursday, all of a sudden id's upgrades are here. Great. But it seems unlikely because they advertise even something as small as we upgraded fire on Shantoto, and they'll advertise that. So yeah. I don't know.
Before we get off of that, so the Chosen Contact and the Slumbering Resentment are battles that are exclusive to Xenogears units.
Yes.
So you can only take in Xenogears units into those fights. So if you don't have any of these collaboration units, you won't be able to do those fights.
That is completely true. I'm pretty sure Faye Neovision's Awakening was what I used in JP, and he can. Oh, I had Graf in JP. Oh, I probably used Graf.
But would you be just using Faye solo? Because you can't take in anyone else.
Oh God, is it time for Choo Choo to carry this? I mean, that's a great point. That's a great point. So a player that didn't play previous events, has none of the units, just blew every spec they own on the Nier banner. They have nothing for this banner. What are they going to do?
Yeah, they won't be able to clear these because they won't have the units.
Yeah, it's not really a question of I can't do it in the turn count. It's I just can't bring 5 Xenogear units whatsoever. Oh my God, that's a wonderful point. I don't know. I guess there's going to be content players just can't clear.
Perhaps so.
And
maybe we get a free Faye again.
And truth be told, I have Graf on JP, so I definitely used Graf. On Global, I don't have Graf. All I've got is Awakened Faye, and I'm assuming he can probably do it by himself, but I don't know. And if he can't, and guess what? Faye's not being upgraded. So even if I did have Faye in JP, he was freely upgraded, which he's not getting on Global. It's going to be the train wreck on Thursday. My God.
He's going to be real fun to clear.
I don't know. I guess we'll see on Thursday. We'll have to figure it out. Me and you have to go deep into the think tank and get some budget runs going.
Oh my God.
I don't know.
I'm ready. Let's do this.
Let's do it.
Choo-choo.
And then the new trial is Octomammoth. This is the 12 race trial. I think it's number 10 against Aquatic. And this one is one of the easiest of all. This is down to the Stroper level because all you need is someone that can absorb water. In JP, nearly everyone used water Veritas, and because I posted a preview thread on Reddit because like this, all the boss does basically is 100 single target attacks. They're all water element. You absorb them all, and an AoE water attack with no imperil. So the party uses 100 water resist, and the provoker absorbs water. That's the fight. It's so goofy. It's literally back down to Stroper level. So
that's so easy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So on JP, we provoked with Water Veritas. On Global, bring Kaito. He can be your breaker and your provoker at the same time. And for those of you that don't want to cheese it, I mean, even if you did use like a proper tank and didn't absorb the water, it's still not even that hard. You can just gear water resist. But if you want to completely cheese it, bring someone that absorbs it.
Hey, I'll take a free Aquan killer though. I mean, that's fine. It's a great killer.
Mm-hmm. Aquan killer recipe plus. And then we get Dragon Eater Sense for the next one, which is Dark Dragon. That one's a little bit harder, so that one will be a lot more interesting than the current one. But I will say, the one catch here is don't bring AoE, because if you kill the tentacles before the head starts ejecting like your entire party, and you just lose. So you have to use single target damage on the head. Or if you're using AoE damage, use single target breaks and just don't break the tentacle, and then only break the head, and the head will die before the tentacles, and you're fine. Just don't bring like Esther and an AoE breaker, because then you have problems. Other than that, pretty simple. I'll have multiple videos up on Thursday. Flip will too, I'm sure. And then a live stream again. December 11th is going to be with Tony and Justin. So what is this going to be a live stream about, Flip? What do you think? It's a little bit early for Christmas.
Man, it's way too early for Christmas. Because these are always to announce whatever's special. And I feel like we just had one because of Nier. Mm-hmm. So they've pushed this so far ahead of time. I have no idea. I actually, this came completely out of the blue for me. So this isn't a Christmas announcement. This is them announcing something 2 weeks before Christmas. So financially, it wouldn't compete with Christmas for the banners. Mm-hmm. So I don't know. This is something either completely dead, like just a dead week, or really big. Maybe they're bringing over that Addison Rae collab from War of the Visions.
Oh, that'll be fun. That'll be fun just to read people's feedback about it. I've read lots of feedback from the War of the Visions about it, so it'll be curious to see what Brave Exvius Global thinks about that if it does happen. We'll see. Tune in on Sunday, December 11th to find out. And that's kind of it. That's really all there is for the week. So there's still Clash of Wills going. No, Clash of Wills is over tomorrow, isn't it? It's the last day. Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay. So how about you, Flip? What are your thoughts on this Clash of Wills? It seems like tradition at this point. Clash of Wills has like one or two bugs, and then it changes midway. That's like just how it is these days.
The healing bug, and then we just remove it because it's not fair. What I liked is they couldn't, like, us as a community, we couldn't really figure out why it was occurring. So they just said, all right, it's gone.
I know. It's like, for me, like, I felt so bad afterwards because, like, I made a video, like, I figured it out. It's if you change app stores. Because for me, that's what it was, for me. And then, like, within 20 minutes, everyone's like, it's not working that way. No, I'm on Amazon and I'm on Google and it still heals or it doesn't heal. Like, so that really just wasn't it. It's so sporadic, or it was, until now it's just, they took it off for everybody. But yeah.
Which was the best way to fix the problem. If there's, and a part of the AI that's working erratically, just remove that part. So, I mean, I get it, but it does kind of nerf the boss, so.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
But, I mean, at least the boss has AI compared to last month, so.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Well, hopefully the one for this month, I assume around Christmas time, will be more interesting and working
the one
properly.
around Christmas time will be the third of the season, right? So therefore, like, the hardest one, or the one with the most, like, skill or whatever.
Mm-hmm. That's how it usually turns out. Yeah. So the finale boss will be this month, and it'll be interesting.
Yeah. And I look forward to seeing what Christmas boss it is.
Mm-hmm. Well, thanks a lot for joining me, Flip.
Thank you for having me.
All right. See you guys on Thursday. Later.
Later.